Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are doing well, and it's been a while since I've recorded my last video, but now I'm back, especially since I've got all the yellow cards for my game Collided Worlds all completed, at least these test versions of them, and in this video I'm going to walk you through all of them. Some of these you've seen, I have shown off a couple of these in a previous video, but a lot of these will be new, so let's get into it. Starting off, I wanted to show off the action cards, and the first one we've got is Reflex Guard. This is a 2-cost action that you can play when your opponent attacks to negate that attack, so it's a pretty useful defensive card to have. And so for these test cards, the art is pretty simple, like I've said. Next is Truce, which is another familiar card if you've played the Make Your Own card game. I've got a card similar to this. Again, 2 costs, and it stops players from attacking until the start of your next turn, so it can buy you some time. Next is Healing Light, which heals 100 damage from each of your units, and then you draw a card. So you have a bunch of banged up units, you can just use this and they'll be good as new. Then there's Revival Ray, which returns a unit from your trash to your hand, the trash being the discard pile, of course, so if you want to get a unit back into your hand from your discard, this is the good way to do it. And then there's Psyshock, which simply allows you to freeze target unit, which is a very useful thing to do. It can stop your opponent from having a blocker available to attack, as well as being able to open the way for you or your own characters to attack, which is kind of a useful thing to have in yellow, since a lot of yellow cards don't really have a lot of good combat abilities. This can be a good way to help them get in for damage. We're in this together is an action that states that units you control get plus 100 CP and Brave until end of turn. Notably, they'll lose the Brave at the end of the turn, but they'll still remain active, so you'll be able to still use them for blocking on your opponent's turn. So this is a good way to push in for some damage. Terrier's Grace is a 5-cost action that states add the top card of your deck to your stocks face down. Now, if you're not familiar with this game, stocks are basically the life. If you're attacked and you have 0 cards in your stock area, then you lose the game, and so this can help you get back some life back. Next up is Terrier's Gift, which allows you to draw cards equal to the number of units you control. Yellow likes to have a lot of units in play at once, so this can be really useful to when you have a bunch of units in play, you can get some extra cards. Not really useful when you have 1, but if you have 2 or 3 or more, then this can be really good to have. Next is Terrier's Gaze, which is a 6-cost action, the most expensive of the yellow actions, and it simply allows you to freeze all opposing units. So this is a good card to play when you really need to get in there and finish your opponent off. It's pretty good to have. Next up are some of the units, and these are some of the archetypes for the color. And yellow's big archetype is the Small Fry, which, if you're familiar with Make Your Owns, you're familiar with this archetype. It's a lot of smaller characters that kind of team up to do something fierce. And starting with the basic one, which gives you 3 action points when played and gives 500 CP, and it has backup plus 100. So it's the basic Small Fry. The Winged Small Fry, which gives 5 action points, only 200 CP, but if you're able to control 3 or more Small Fry units, this unit is unable to be blocked. So if you have a board full of Small Fry, this guy can get in there and guarantee you some damage on your opponent. It's pretty nice. The Small Fry Wizard has the ability to give a unit you control an extra 100 CP until the end of the turn. It's only for Small Fries, but if you're playing a Small Fry deck, it's good to have. Not a lot of combat power, but it does give you 3 more action points when you play it. The Small Fry Warrior gives 2 action points, but has 600 combat power. And the Brave ability, which is kind of Yellow's signature ability, basically stating the unit does not freeze when it attacks, so you can attack with this and it'll still be available to block incoming attacks for you. Next up is Small Fry Archer, which is an interesting card because it reveals I've made a few rule changes to the game. Initially, when you attack with a character, they have to go after the opponent, but I've made one change so where they can go after frozen characters as well. Now, a unit can attack any frozen character as long as it doesn't have evasive, but with Small Fry Archer, you can see that this unit is allowed to attack units with the evasive ability. Evasive being Blue's signature ability, meaning that other units cannot attack them unless they have evasive too, so this is a good card to have if you're going against a bunch of evasive characters and you're playing a yellow deck. Next is Small Fry Messenger, which basically lets you look at the top 4 cards of your deck and grab a Small Fry from among them. The rest go on the bottom, so this is a great way to help search out the other Small Fry cards you need to get started with your plays. Very nice to have. The final Small Fry card is, of course, the King Small Fry, 900 CP, but he only gives 1 action point, but he has the ability to give your other Small Fry units plus 200 CP and Brave, which makes them a lot more effective in combat. The other main archetype for yellow is Heroes, though Heroes are essentially an archetype that covers all the colors in some way. And the first of yellows is Citrus, who gives 700 combat power, and he has the Brave ability, so he's kind of a slightly more powerful version of the Small Fry Warrior. Next is Vincent Quethorn, which is another simple hero who has the ability, if you control Victoria Quethorn, he gets an extra 200 CP. You've also got Victoria Quethorn, which has the same ability as Vincent. If you control Vincent, she also gets 200 CP, so you want to have both of them in play to be able to get the most out of them. And that kind of ties into yellows. A lot of yellows cards tend to work better together. They like to have a lot of their cards in play. Will the Wonder Kid is another hero. 400 CP, but he gives 200 CP when used as a backup. And when you play him, you get to heal 200 damage from each of your units. So if you have a lot of banged up units, you can play this to heal all of them for 200, which is pretty nice. Delta Warrior Raylan, which should be familiar if you're familiar with the Make Your Own card game. Each of the colors in the initial set of Collided Worlds is going to have 1 Delta Warrior in it, and Raylan's ability is pretty simple. You play him, you get to freeze a unit, so it can help you open the way for another unit to deal some damage. Shirk Deo, which is the top end of the heroes, and he's a pretty unique character in that he has 2 abilities. His first ability states that hero units you control can team up for joint attacks regardless of their color. Normally, joint attacks require you to use 2 units of the same color to be able to have them attack as 1 unit. But this allows you to do that with units of any color as long as they're heroes. And the other ability also works well with heroes. It gives other hero units you control 100 combat power and Brave, so that's pretty nice. Finally, we have a few other characters who don't really fit into any category. You got Sam here, which gives 4 action points, which is pretty good. Only 100 combat power, but his ability states that you get to double the effect of backups attached to this unit. So for example, you can attach Shirk Deo as a backup to Sam and he'll get 200 extra combat power instead of 100. So that'll make him even stronger. Up next is Teria, Goddess of Creation. Gives 1 action point and has 1,000 combat powers, making it one of the stronger units in this color. And her ability states that other units you control cannot be targeted by card effects, so this is a good card to have when you have a lot of units in play. This can help keep them safe. And the final one for yellow is Giselle of the Divine Drake. This is the dragon for the yellow color. Every color is going to get a dragon, and this And like all the dragons, it doesn't give action points when you play it, but it has a lot of combat power and a useful ability. It's an action ability that states you get to heal all damage from one of your units. So if you have one unit that's hurt really bad, you can just use this to heal it right up. And that about does it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. Definitely leave a like if you enjoyed, and as always, comment your favorite. I hope to get all the playtest cards for all the colors done so I can continue with the actual playtesting and then move on to making the actual art for the cards. And so definitely stay tuned to that. And on the left, you can subscribe to the channel, and on the right, there's another video you can watch in this series. Probably it'll be the video detailing all the red cards in case you missed it. You can catch up there. I'll see you in whatever video I upload next, and take care.